A little power. It's gonna be that's gonna be the headpiece. Just a little file work on it, just nothing special, just a little shape, 1/2 inch. That way we can put probably ukulele tuners in there or something. Make it easy to tune besides wooden pegs. Next we're going to move on to, now we need to attach this to the neck of the instrument. And I figure how we're going to do that is that we're going to cut back a piece in the wood stock right here. That way we can countersink this back in the wood stock and then glue it down and then put a little piece of wood at the bottom, and that way it'll give it extra support. Our neck block, we'll make a line. That we're going to remove this. And we'll just guesstimate it how far we need to go back. That's right here. There we go. So with the sled, using this, you can get damn near perfect mortars on this. So All I'm gonna do is clean that up with a chisel just a little bit, and you know, it'll be spot on. Sled, man, it's the way to go. And straighten this up. So a little chisel work. You can see that's a pretty good joint. That's pretty good. It's not perfect, but it's damn near it. That's what we're looking for right there. We're gonna put some reinforcement on the bottom once we get going. This little lip right there, the reason why we want that little lip is so when we put our nut on it, it has something to hold it. Well, we got it fitting about as good as we're gonna get, so we'll go ahead and start gluing this to the neck. That's pretty close, man. That's a pretty good, perfect fit. Just need to get that down. Big, long 36 incher. Put one this way. It's going to buckle right there at the neck, so we're going to have to put another one on right here. But that's the easy fix. That's an easy fix. Put one on here. Go. I'll keep it down. I'll keep it down, and this will keep the neck in place. There we go. So that's what we want. So now it's just letting it dry. Let and dry. We'll work on the body some more. Next up is going to figure out where we're going to attach our neck. So we need to find the center of this. I like rulers with centimeters and inches because sometimes it's off. Like right here, it shows it's an inch and almost 8 inches, up to 8 inches. You know, if you switch it to centimeters, boom, it's spot on 20 centimeters, and you know half of 20 centimeters is 10, so there we go. That's going to be our mid joint right there. That's going to be where our neck connects to the body. across. If we were using a dowel, we'd drill a hole and run the dowel, mark it all the way to the back. But we're going to use a neck more in line to the instrument. So know that's there. I'm going to mark here to show where it's at. And we'll do screw holes here, and we'll once we glue the neck on, we'll attach it with a screw just for better support. All right, let's work some more on our Gottan. So we got our body done, and I marked the center spot, drilled a little hole right there. And that's where our screw is going to go through. Took a flat piece of board and I put down and the neck on, and this is basically just to prop the. I got a little piece here and a little piece there, just to get it up off the plank and try to get it even. We want to connect our body here. Important thing about this is that you want to make sure that right here you have a little lip right there. So you want this neck high enough off the board, so when you put your soundboard, it'll be somewhat even with the neck. That way your neck's not sticking way up. Because you have to raise the neck up because of the length of the soundboard has to be even with the neck. Is what I'm trying to say. Blah blah blah. So when we put this on, it's pretty much almost even with the neck. So that's what we want. So we got that marked out. You want this to be flat. We can pretty much almost guess center line on this right here. So that's how we're going to attach it right there. So we'll go ahead and add the neck on. This is going to be fretless because they were fretless. I marked out where the neck's going to be and where it needs to line up. I'm going to take a little piece of wood right here that I've squared off, and I'm going to attach to this, and that way I have a reference so when I put the neck on where a square is. Put it on with a little piece of little simple piece of wood, and put a little C-clamp on it if I can get it on there. All right. That's going nice and tight, so that way when we go to put the neck on, it'll be square. We'll make sure that it's square. See, another thing is that when I do the neck block back there on my wheel, I make sure it's at at least a 3 degrees angle. And what that does is, you see how I put a ruler on it. See how the ruler is lifting off the soundboard right there? That means that the neck is tilted down a little ways. So that means that when we go to string it, it'll be less buzzing on the strings hitting the actual neck, because the strings will be lifted up. The string will be closer to the nut down there and further off the neck at the top by the bridge. Time to glue the neck on. Always when you're dealing with open grain in like this, in grain, especially porous wood like this, it's always good to put a coat of glue on it and let it dry, and that way the glue, when it goes to glue it, it doesn't soak into the wood, or else it's going to soak into the wood and you won't have a good joint. So always put glue and let it dry at the end grain. Then you won't have to worry about it. I put a good dollop of glue on it. Just need it to bond because it's actually the bolt going to hold it into place. But these little instruments, they don't have a truss rod, so you really don't want to tune them and leave them tuned and stress on the neck, because eventually it will work. They every time they played their instrument, they retuned it. So we're gonna get that lined up. We get our little marks lined up. Now we're gonna bolt it down. You can get the big 30-inch, 36-inch vise. Yeah. This takes some finagling. Make sure it just stays in place. Use it as that. Make sure it's all down. Got a good joint, good solid joint. Make sure that it's butted up correctly on the board over there. Make sure that it's square. Get out my perfect engineer square there. That's square. Yep. That's pretty square. Now just letting it dry. We'll start working on the probably the soundboard next. All right, well that's drying up. We'll work on the bridge. I took a piece of poplar, about a 1/4 inch, and I glued a piece of hardwood on top of it. And we're gonna make a bridge out of this. I got a little spare bridge right here that I'll use as my pattern. So I'll put that on there and mark out the layout of it, basically. It's going to be a high bridge right now, but we'll cut it down to size. We'll cut it down to size as need be. I need to see how high the strings are when I go to string the instrument. Then I'll know how to adjust it. So that's our basic cut out of our bridge right there. Cut it down with the saw. Sometimes I forget to have music playing in the background when I'm recording, and I know you can't be right, infringement. So, you know. Already has it marked right, y'all. So we're gonna go ahead and saw this. Little Japanese pull saws, man, they are accurate cutting. Save you from using power saws sometimes. That's gonna be our top right there. Little chisel work, a little file work on it. Finish it off with some sandpaper. Just we're going to narrow the tip of it eventually. That's going to be our bridge for the moment. So that's our that's going to be our bridge. It's a little thick at the moment. We'll sand it down. We'll taper it down like that, and it's tapered down like that right there. So sanding.